Good day, Deeblug. Fare you well?
Most well indeed, and I will tell you why. The conquering cherub has lately returned home to England.
Ah, this being the voyage you did invest in.
Aye, and what a sound investment it was, for it has paid off most handsomely. The cherub's cargo of nutmeg and pepper will fetch a high price indeed. In sooth, as I recall, it was you who advised me on this investment, was it not? I thank ye heartily for it, sir.
I am glad to have been of service, Deeblug.
Forsooth, my earnings have enabled me to make a substantial investment in Sir Walter Raleigh's expedition to the New World.
Ah, methinks I've heard of this. 'Tis a quest to find the fabled lost city of gold, is it not? Or as the Spanish call it, El Dorado?
The very same. For it is said that El Dorado does lie deep within the rainforests of the southern parts of the New World, hiding vast quantities of gold and precious jewels. Hence, what I would have you tell me is, exactly how rich can I expect to be made from my investment?
I see.
For if I am to be made very rich, I am afeard that news of my fabulous wealth may cause some jealousy among the clergy. News travels fast around the diocese, and I think it wise to get ahead of it if I can.
Then let us consult the stars. What will become of Thomas Blag's investment in Sir Walter Raleigh's quest to find El Dorado? I am afeard the expedition is doomed, Deeblug, for Raleigh and his men have had their progress impeded. The natives who dwell upon the banks of the Orinoco River are refusing to let their ships pass.
But surely Raleigh's men will defeat them.
It seems they are unable to do so, for the stars indicate that upon spying the faces of the native children, the hearts of Raleigh's men did melt. They are disobeying their orders and refusing to lay waste to the villages for the sake of gold.
Small children can be very beguiling. Mayhap we send missionaries to these villages to establish schools. Once taught the Christian virtues of obedience and honesty, the children will doubtless reveal the location of the City of Gold to Raleigh and his men. I will at once to Lambeth Palace go and discourse upon it with the Archbishop.
Good morrow, sir, and well met.
Indeed, 'tis I, Riccardo Ferraro, come once again to the great Dottore Simon Forman.
Aye, and I can see why you are come. Methinks you are not well, signor. The colour of your face is quite alarming.
It is because I am losing the blood. The blood does drain away from my face, way down my body, and out of my...
You are bleeding from your fundament. How much have you been bleeding, and for how long?
Un poco, not too much. It does come and go. Sometimes blood, sometimes no blood. You stop the blood, see?
Mayhap I will, but first I must consult the stars to find a diagnosis. What ails Signor Riccardo Ferraro? There is nothing here to worry about, Signor Ferraro. Your body is merely purging itself of corrupted blood, in a similar manner to that which does occur in a woman's nethers each month. To wit, 'tis most healthsome and natural.
Are you sure? Are you sure that is your final answer?
Indeed it is. I do assure you, Signor, 'tis the very latest medical thinking on the subject of hemorrhoids. You are welcome to procure a second opinion, but I warrant you will find that most doctors in London will tell you the same.
Then Riccardo Ferraro bids you good day, Signor Foreman.
This woman has a gift for words. If only she had riches words, they'd probably be much better words. Though written by Our Lady.
Did you see that?
See what, madam?
Your querent, Signor Ferraro, scuttling away from me like a frighted rabbit. What have I ever done to upset the man? All I did was wish him buongiorno as I passed him at the door.
Verily, Signor Ferraro's behaviour does sound full strange. But let us not think of him, but of the matter that brings you hither, Mistress Lanier. How do you fare?
I fare most well, in the main, for I'm happy to report that you were quite wrong in judging that collaboration with Mr. S would fare ill, for in sooth 'tis going exceeding well. Verily, Dr. Foreman, I would be right content with my lot at present if it were not for the trouble I am come about this day.
Pray, tell me of this trouble, madam.
I am being prowled. Oftentimes in the night I see him following me home. One time methinks I even caught him looking at me through my window. I would have you tell me who this prowling man might be.
A prowler? How very worrisome. Can you describe this man to me?
Nay, for 'tis always at night that I spy him, and I have always been too frighted for my eyes to linger upon him very long.
Then let us see what light the stars can shed upon the identity of this man who hides himself in darkness. Who is the man prowling Mistress Lanier? The stars suggest that your prowler is a man with a talent for wit, a man who secretly harbours amorous feelings towards you. Does that sound like anyone you know, madam?
Dr. Foreman, I find your question most illogical. I cannot know of a man who harbours secret feelings for me, for indeed, if I were to know of them, the feelings would not be secret.
Yes, well, let me put it another way. Your friend, Mr. S, is the keen-witted man who furtively admires you. He is your prowler, madam.
Mr. S is my prowler, you say? Why, Dr. Foreman, what is in you? For indeed 'tis not the first time you have cast shade upon the character of Mr. S. I bid you, sir, check the stars again.
Is it not the most likely explanation, though, madam?
I assure you there is nothing likely about the unique relationship betwixt me and Mr. S. Indeed, he has too much respect for my literary mind to use me so ill. For his is a noble intellect that allows him to soar above the baser instincts of lesser men. Now, if you will not judge the stars again for me, I will bid you good day, Dr. Foreman.
hear ye! Sir Walter Raleigh fails to find legendary Treasure City. Rumours say next Raleigh voyage is to Pot of Gold at End of Rainbow. Hear ye!
Here comes Emma, so kindly she, to the frail and aged she offers sympathy. What is she for others have? Especially when they're born of wealth. Here comes Emma, so kind-hearted is she.
Good day to you, Mistress Sharp.
Good day, Dr. Foreman. But I am Mistress Delamere now.
Mistress Delamere? But as I recall from my case notes... let me see now. 'Twas 3 years past. Aye, were you not hoping to marry a man named George Middleton?
Oh, yes. I did marry Mr. Middleton. For though I did tell my family what you said about his condition of the heart, they quite insisted that I marry him. And truly, they were full wrong to do so, for just as you predicted, Mr. Middleton did verily die of his cardiac passion, mere months after we were wed.
So soon? How very tragical.
I blame the Scotsman who took to playing his bagpipes below our bedroom window at odd hours of the day and night. Such a bothersome man. Betwixt him and the vipers Mr. Middleton discovered one morning nesting in his undergarments, I fear 'twas all too much for his poor, weak heart. Oh.
There, my dear lady. How distressing your late husband's death must have been for you.
Aye, indeed, Dr. Foreman, so much so that my friends urged me to marry again, lest I die of grief. But now that I am once more a wife, I would not wish to be widowed anew, and John Delamere, my present husband, is also an older man. Dr. Foreman, you must tell me whether there be any illness he has, whether there be anything I might do to save my dear sweet husband from an early death.
Then let us see what the stars have to say. Is Mr. John Delamere troubled with any condition that may cause him to die? Madam, I am afeard your new husband suffers from a cardiac passion.
Oh, not Mr. Delamere as well?
Aye, 'tis a common condition among men of a certain age. You must keep him away from anything that may cause him alarm or shock. To wit, changes in temperature, sudden noises and surprises, and bagpipes and snakes.
Oh, I will, sir, I will indeed. I thank ye for this wise counsel. Good day, Dr. Foreman.
Sibyl's a fine host, of this she will oft boast. She loves to entertain, she loves to entertain. Though hard she does try, her dinners go awry. And in tears and shame.
Good morrow, Mistress Fortescue. How may I help you this day?
I did lately experience feelings of a most strange and disturbing nature, for which I desire an explanation.
I see. Prithee describe these feelings to me, madam. When did they occur?
Last eve, at a dinner party hosted by my dear friend Mistress Emma Delamere. All was well at first, but soon after my arrival I was stricken with a kind of madness.
Madness, you say?
Yes, moments during which I found myself overcome with feelings of mirth, laughing most immoderately at the dullest of remarks made by other guests. At other times I felt an unnatural fascination with the shape of the candelabra in the table's centrepiece, And all the while I was so ravenous with hunger, I quite absent-mindedly ate all the sweetmeats at my end of the table. I fear my rapaciousness did not escape the notice of guests seated beside me.
Such an immoderate appetite is out of character for you, I take it. It could not have merely been occasioned by anxious passions?
Why, nay, Dr. Foreman. Forsooth, I ought to have been very calm last eve, for I did spend the afternoon inhaling the fumes of an aromatic oil, a gift from my sweet husband sent back from his explorations in the Near East. I did mention my husband, Captain Henry Fortescue, before, I think. He is a great friend of Sir Walter Raleigh. Oh, Henry and Sir Walter find the oil most relaxing, so he tells me.
Yet you were not so very relaxed last eve, I take it.
No, not in the least, for I fear a capricious spell was cast upon me. Over the course of the evening, I developed the strongest intuition that malignant forces were present in the room, and that I had been bewitched. Could it be true, Dr. Foreman? Might a witch have cast a spell on me?
That is something we shall have to ask the stars, madam. Let us see. What was it that afflicted Mistress Sybil Fortescue last eve at dinner? Now, madam, the oil your husband sent you. This was the first time you did inhale its fumes, methinks.
Yes, the shipment of gifts from my husband did only lately arrive.
Then I think we have your answer. I have read some interesting tales of such oils and herbs of the Near East. 'Tis said they occasion certain temperaments, to wit, an excessive sanguinity, which will have caused the immoderate laughter and increased appetite. They can also provoke a narrowing of the mind, which would explain your temporary fascination with the candelabra, and I believe the fumes of this oil may also have been responsible for the notion that you have been bewitched.
And the men of the Near East gain pleasure from this oil? They would render themselves foolish on purpose?
Aye, indeed. Foreigners have many strange customs and desires that we cannot hope to understand.
How fascinating! I thank ye for this explanation, sir. Indeed, 'twill make for a most diverting tale with which to regale guests at my next dinner. God give you good morrow, Dr. Foreman.
Another consultation. Will this one end in bed? Or will Mistress Allen slap him round the head?
Good day, Mistress Allen. What brings you this day? Oh, dear lady, you tremble like a leaf on an autumn day.
Aye, for I am most affrighted. But Mr. Allen says he thinks I worry over naught. So I am come to you, for methinks you would. Perchance you may help me.
By my troth, Pray tell me of this evil that affrightens you, madam, and I shall do all in my power to protect you from it.
Yes, evil. Oh, indeed, 'tis the very word for it. I have seen a dark figure prowling outside our house in the night, and once I saw him spying through my window. Who is he? What does he want from me? What am I to do?
I see. And you do not recognize his face or any other particulars? The colour of his hair, for instance?
Oh, nay, for 'tis always so dark. But by his silhouette I can tell he is a bony, scrawny little man.
Is he verily? But your husband thinks 'tis naught to worry over, you say?
Aye, he says the man is doubtless naught but a poor travelling tinker who is merely taking shelter in our garden. 'Twould explain why his figure is so slight, to be sure, but what if he is not a tinker? What if his purpose is more sinister?
Aye, indeed. Then let us consult the stars. Who is the man prowling outside the Allens' house in the night, and what is his purpose? stars suggest the Prowler is a secret foe of your husband. Does Mr. Allen have any gambling debts, perchance?
Hold. Methinks I see it now. Ah, 'tis you! The Prowler, 'tis you!
Me? How now, madam? What an outlandish notion.
So you would deny it, that you have prowled and spied upon me these last months?
Prithee, Avis, you've got it all.
I will not have it. I am not a thing to be owned. I'm not one of your prized possessions.
I prithee, madam, put that down. Put it...
Ah!
Fie, madam! That was a priceless Venetian vase.
Who is this man who has earned such acclaim? Lately returned from his conquests in Spain. The streets of London resound with his fame. Robert Devereux, that is his name.
Good day, sir. How may I... By Jupiter! Can it be true? Robert Devereux, the Earl of Essex, Lord of Her Majesty's Privy Council, a hero of the Battle of Cadiz.
Prithee, calm yourself, Sirrah. Pray, treat me just as you would any other querent.
Of course, as it pleases your lordship. But may I say, what a great privilege it is to... may I offer you a...
You are the man who had some success treating the plague some years past, are you not?
Oh, indeed, my lord. You are very well informed. My strong water did save many a Londoner from a most lamentable death.
Then perchance you might have some cunning cure for me as well, for since I am returned to England upon having resolved that small matter in Spain, I find myself afflicted with the most vexing ailment.
Oh, but your most glorious capture of the Spanish city of Cadiz was no small matter, my lord. All England talks of nothing else. Why, pamphlets recounting your heroic exploits are sold on every street corner in London.
Mayhap they are. I know nothing of them. My single-handed victory against the King of Spain was but a trifling affair, and the least I could do for my queen and a grateful nation. But I fear vast riches and the hearts of many a Spanish beauty were not the only things I did capture while I was there.
What else did you capture in Spain, my lord? I fear I do not grasp your meaning. If you would kindly show me where upon your body you are...
As you see, this Spanish disease I caught has me oozing a most disagreeable substance.
Methinks I have a fair idea of the nature of your affliction, but I must confirm the judgment with a reading of the stars. Let us see, what disease troubles Robert Lord Devereux, the Earl of Essex? You have gonorrhea, my lord. 'Tis a condition provoked by an increase in intimate activities.
Too much strumpy-humpy, eh? Well, 'tis true that since news of my victory got about, every wench from Southwark to Shoreditch wants a piece of my action, as it were. And how may this gonorrhea be cured?
The most effective method is lead plate therapy. Usually this requires a man to lie in bed for many hours with a leaden plate positioned upon his privy parts, thus allowing the lead to impart its healing properties to the affected member. But, of course, men such as your lordship have no time to lie around in bed, which is why... Let me just fetch it from my cabinet. Which is why I invented this.
And that is what? Some sort of wonder chub, like the ones old men used to wear?
Precisely so, my lord. 'Tis a codpiece that I had a blacksmith fashion out of lead. I invite your lordship to wear it under your breeches so that the lead may remain in contact with your privy member at all times. Indeed, until you are cured.
How very droll this is. Verily, how old-fashioned. I will appear as hung as old King Henry Tudor. Mayhap I just wear it in my chambers.
Good day, and please come again. If you need anything at all, I am at your service.
Watch your lover, Avis, watch her night and day. If a woman has your heart, you cannot let her stray.
Avis, I did not expect to see you this evening. Do you bring news?
Aye, some very good news, at least if you confirm it for me. Methinks I am with child.
How very wondrous. And, have you any idea of who might...
Aye, verily, with child, but I dare not to. Forsooth, what if it be naught but false hope?
Then let us ask the stars without delay. Is Mistress Avis Allen verily with child? Madam, the stars confirm that you are indeed with child, and that the father is...
Oh, joy! Simon, is it not wondrous? You and I are to be blessed.
Hold. I am not finished. The stars also reveal the identity of the father.
There is no need to read the stars for that, for surely 'tis obvious that you...
Prithee, admit it. You have been coupling with my manservant, William.
Why, you... I warrant the stars say nothing of the sort.
See here, in my chart. 'Tis plain as day. In the house of children, alongside Venus, there is the planet Mars. Who else but William could that be?
But such scribblings of yours, they mean nothing to me. For all I know, you make up those stories about planets and houses and such. Why, verily, perchance you might draw up a new chart, Simon. One that tells of how the planet Avis is no longer in the House of Foreman.
You would mock me, madam? You would make a jest of my... Oh, I see. Leaving now, are you? Then you do so. You leave. I bid you good day.
Rich but not satisfied, mayhap you have not tried this one weird trick for displaying your wealth. Buy herbs and confections to boost your complexion and pass idle hours tending to your health.
Good even, sir. Who do I have the pleasure of welcoming to my chambers this day?
Nicholas Muggs, proprietor of Muggs Rugs down on Silver Street.
Ah, the wig makers. You supply wigs to players, do you not? I have heard tell of your fine work from some of my playhouse querents.
I thank ye for your kindness, sir. I do hear you are very skilled at your trade also. For are you not the curer of the plague of 92? Forsooth, I do hope you may cure me as well. For though I do not think I have the plague, whatever I have is doubtless most grave, no matter what my wife thinks.
And what is it your wife thinks?
It be her mind that I have taken naught but a chilly cold in the head. But 'tis not so, Dr. Foreman, for I ache all over. My throat is grown sore, and I cough day and night.
Day and night, you say?
Aye, verily.
I see. Then let us consult the stars. What does ail Nicholas Mugg? I am pleased to say that your wife is correct, and you have little to worry over. You have what we doctors call frigidus ad hominem, or, as it is more commonly known, a man-cold.
Frigid... A man-cold, you say?
Aye, 'tis a cold in the head, suffered uniquely by those of the male sex. And, although it be a minor affliction, the suffering can be very great.
A minor affliction, you say? That cannot be right. I bid you check the stars again, sir, for see how ill I am, and my throat grows so hoarse I can hardly speak.
I think the trouble in your throat may be occasioned by overuse. Perhaps you might try, discoursing less.
Well, I think you ought to know that I will be seeking a second opinion.
As you will, sir. Good day.
Robert Lord Dare rose a rising star, dashing and debonair, he will go far. Oh, London greets him with cries of huzzah! In truth, we cannot stay so sweet we are.
Good day, my lord. How may I do you service? Would it pertain to some thrilling adventure upon which you may soon be embarking?
Indeed it does. Sir Walter Raleigh and I did recently come across some intelligence concerning a fleet of Spanish ships that will soon be sailing home from the New World, bearing a goodly cargo of gold. Raleigh and I plan to borrow the royal fleet, which we will use to intercept the ships and seize the treasure.
Huzzah! But, borrow the Royal Navy, you say?
Aye, only temporarily, of course. The Queen will hardly know her ships are gone. Indeed, when we return them to her bearing a handsome prize of Spanish gold, she will doubtless forgive our failure to file the correct paperwork and what not.
Doubtless. And how may I assist your lordship in this glorious endeavour?
Well, in order to intercept the Spanish fleet, we must know which route it is planning to take. One possibility is that it returns to Spain having retrieved the gold from the New World's southern continent. The other possibility, and this is the one Sir Walter thinks most likely, is that the gold has already been transported by conquistadors from the southern continent up to Havana, and the ships are to fetch it from there.
Then let us see whether the stars can tell us upon which route the treasure ships may be intercepted on their return to Spain from the New World. Will they be sailing from the southern continent or from the Spanish colony of Havana? The Spanish treasure ships will take a direct route back from the southern continent, from whence the gold was, found. For it seems the treasure was, discovered by the fleet's own soldiers.
Excellent, excellent. But where are we to intercept them? Pray, give me the precise day, latitude, and longitude.
Certainly, my lord. But divining nautical coordinates is a somewhat lengthy and complex process. If your lordship would kindly return in an hour or so...
Quickly, sir! I have not the time to bide here all day.
Well then, let me see now. Taking into account the position of Jupiter, divide by 3, carry the 1. Ah, yes. The Spanish treasure ships may be intercepted upon the 15th day of October at a latitude of 9 and 40 degrees north and 5 and 20 degrees west, or thereabouts. That said, however, I cannot promise you that...
Excellent. Raleigh and I shall sail to this very spot. Huzzah!
Huzzah! Godspeed, my lord.
Though she never went to school, and she's kind and never cruel, do not take Alice for a fool. Alice Block, she is no fool.
Good even to you, madam. How might I...
Aye, pray go tell your master, Mr. Foreman, that Mistress Alice Blogg is come to see him.
Ah, Mistress Blogg. It is I, Dr. Simon Foreman, at your service. And what an honour it is to welcome the wife of the Dean of Rochester to my humble practice. To whom do I owe my thanks for having recommended you to my care?
Well, I will not lie. You owe your thanks to nobody, for folk do tell me that you are not a real doctor, but a quack, who does conjure demons and dabbles most unlawfully in the dark arts.
I do assure you, madam, that whatever you may have heard, I am
Yea, do not quibble, sir. If I did seek the counsel of a doctor who has one of those fancy medical degrees, of the kind of high-bred know-it-all who does see fit to judge a woman and vex her most cruelly, I would have gone elsewhere. But, truth be told, I have need of such a man as you, for I have been bewitched by a witch.
Ah, I see.
Yea, a loathsome spell has been cast upon me. It does cause me to awaken in the morning with a most terrible pain in my head, a pain so wretched it does have me chundering into my chamber pot.
Pain in the head and involuntary purging. And what leads you to believe your suffering is occasioned by witchcraft?
Well, the timing is most unnatural. My troubles do occur every Saturday morning without fail. I suspect the doings of our new neighbour, the widow MacDoon. As well as being Scottish, she does possess several cats.
Several cats, you say?
One or two of which I may have kicked, and now she has seen fit to take revenge upon me with her dark, foreign magic.
Indeed. Scotland is well known for the powerful black witchcraft practiced by its womenfolk. But as compelling as this evidence may be, my practice does draw upon the latest scientifical arts. To diagnose your condition, I must first perform a rigorous astronomical analysis. So, let us see now, what do the stars say is the cause of your Saturday morning suffering? Madam, may I delicately inquire as to whether it be the habit of you and your husband to take wine with supper? On Friday evenings, perchance? Drinking a little overmuch on occasion is nothing to be ashamed of. Many of my most respectable querents do find that a fine French claret can be deceptively...
Oh, nay, more's the pity. My husband is a tiresome teetotaler who prefers to spend his evenings writing sermons and counting coin. He hardly ever accompanies me to the tavern on Fridays.
Does he not? Well, in any case, I am much afraid that the ale you do consume upon these tavern visits may be to blame for your affliction. The consumption of strong drink can provoke an excess of black bile, which then does cause the body to purge itself the following day. I do advise you to consider...
Then I am not bewitched. But if that be true, then to poor Molly MacDoon I have been most rude and unneighbourly. For shame! I must go to her this hour and apologise. Fare you well, Mr. Foreman. I must bid you good day.
Beware conspirations, plots and machinations, the schemes of big physic to sell you their wares. Their cures do us violence, but they call it science. They mock our beliefs and belittle our fears.
Ah, well met, Mr. Mugg. How fare you since our first consultation?
It seems as you were right. Though I was, in sooth, much troubled with the vile disease of, what did you say it was, Fudgipus and Honeyman, I did not die.
Frigidus ad hominem. I am most glad to hear it, sir. Indeed, you do look well.
Well, mayhap I look well now, but 'twill not be for long. I have been poisoned.
Poisoned? By the saints! Who is the author of this foul deed?
My friend George Sprottle, the bookbinder. I did dine with him not 2 hours ago.
Ah, I see. A bout of evil digestion. Pray tell, was there turned meat or some such at table?
Nay, not meat. 'Twas a pie full of cherries. I had a bite of it afore I knew what I was eating.
Cherries, you say?
Aye, cherries. And this after I took particular care to give Mistress Sprottle a list of foods I must not eat. I added cherries to the list when I did hear that the Countess of Devonshire has declared against their noxious qualities.
The Countess of Devonshire, you say? Noxious qualities, indeed. And now your symptoms, Mr. Mugg. Had you any reaction after eating these cherries?
My reaction? Well, I reacted as any man would. I spat them out. And know you what Mr. Sprottle did then, Dr. Foreman?
Nay, but pray tell.
He did laugh at me. He even called me a dinner-ralphing fusspot. Fie, I may soon be in the grave, thanks to George. Will he still be laughing then?
Well, let us not speculate, shall we, Mr. Mugg? Now, let us see what the stars may tell us. What ails Nicholas Mugg? Your condition has been provoked by the rancour you feel toward your host for having ignored your alimentary demands. These feelings have caused your spleen to produce ill humours, which you are presently venting in the form of bilious anger. Hence it will quickly pass.
I see. But what of the cherries I ate?
Cherries are perfectly safe to eat. Truly, Mr. Mugg, you must abandon these absurd and superstitious notions about the evils of particular fruits and vegetables.
Must I?
Aye, with the exception of onions, of course, for onions do render a man susceptible to the plague.
Onions, verily. I thank you for the warning, Dr. Foreman. I shall add onions to my list.
William! Ah, there you are. Did Mistress Allen call whilst I was out this day? Nay? You're quite sure about that, are you? I see. I cannot understand it. Why has Avis not come these past weeks? Does she no longer wish to see me? So, 'tis the madness of my love that keeps Avis away. My jealous passions and accusations have vexed her, mayhap even caused her fright. When she comes to see me again, for she surely will, by and by, I must remember to be kinder to her, to not plague her with my suspicions. And until Avis does return, well, there are other women in the world, are there not?
Eyes are nothing like the sun, if snowy white her breasts are done, and that is our description done, for she is a lady, she's not a lady.
Good day, Mistress Lanier. Much time has passed since I last saw you. How do you fare?
In truth, not well, Dr. Foreman, not well at all.
Then I am full sorry for it, madam. Pray, tell me what manner of ill has befallen you.
First, I must beseech your pardon, sir, for methinks Mr. S. may verily be my prowler after all, as you did surmise.
Think nothing of it, madam. But what has made you change your mind about him?
I have been publicly humiliated. Mr. S. has been circulating a collection of insulting sonnets about an unnamed dark lady, and all of London thinks this dark lady is me.
Well, your complexion is rather, that is to
I
say...
am described as having foul breath and black wires for hair, though methinks the very worst line is the one that tells of a gross body rising at the utterance of my name. And I cannot abide illusions, Dr. Foreman. If Mr. S. wishes to reference bodily levitation and other such cheap stage magic, he would do well to leave my name out of it. My interest is in the dramatic arts, not fairground attractions.
I am not sure that is quite his meaning.
Dr. Foreman, you know of Mr. William Shakespeare, then? Do not tell me you have read the sonnets.
Well, I own that I have. But as you did remark, madam, all of London has read them.
Oh, woe, I am undone. My professional reputation is now utterly spoiled, for now the whole world will look upon me as naught but Mr. Shakespeare's fancy wench. No longer will they judge me on my own merits.
Let us hope it is not as grave as that, madam. Have you discoursed upon the matter with him?
Nay, I dare not confront him about it. For we are almost at an end with our work on a play, and I dare not risk it not being staged.
Then let us see what the stars advise. What may Mistress Lanier do to restore her professional reputation? You are right to be concerned about the damage to your reputation, Mistress Lanier, for there is a danger that your partnership with Mr. Shakespeare and his depiction of you in his sonnets will forever overshadow your own literary achievements.
God's womb. But what can I do to forestall such an injustice?
I suggest you spread a rumour of your own about another lady. For instance, there is a brothel owner in Clerkenwell they call Black Luce. If you were to put it about that she is the subject of Shakespeare's sonnets, 'twould do her reputation no harm. Indeed, the effect would be quite the reverse, for doubtless there be many a man at present who would pay handsomely for a tumble with Shakespeare's dark lady.
Well, indeed. I do feel 'tis most important to advance the interests of my fellow women, especially those seeking to make their way in business. Oh, do you see that, Dr. Foreman? 'Tis your mute Italian querent, Signor Ferraro. He is staring at us through the window.
Is he? Then doubtless he has come for another consultation.
Italian cliché, Here's my couplet, an Italian cliché. Ferraro, signor Ferraro.
Good day, senor, and well met.
Tis I, Riccardo Ferraro, come once again to see the great Dottore Simon Foreman.
Indeed, I did recognize you, senor. How may I assist you this day?
I am ill. I tell you my problems. First problem, I do make a chandar in the morning. Next problems, my belly does swell and my chest 'tis a most tender to the touch. And now, for the very most terrible of problems. I have the big fears. One moment I do weep, and the next I do curse and gnash my teeth. So, Dottore, you tell what ails me, huh? You wanna make a water into this cup? Un momento, I make the water.
Nay, not in my... prithee, hold. If you please, senor. As with our previous consultations, I shall be judging your illness by reading the stars.
So, you need not of my...
Nay, senor, I have no need of it. Whilst 'tis true that most physicians do spy and sniff their patients' urine, I find this method of piss-pot diagnosis most imprecise. Indeed, the practice is quite primitive. 'Tis my belief that if medicine is to advance in this modern age, we must all adopt a more scientifical method. I am quite sure history will bear me out on this question.
This scientifical method. 'Tis reading my diagnosis in the stars?
Precisely so. Speaking thereof, perchance we may consult the stars now. What illness troubles Signor Riccardo Ferraro? Senor, you have been stricken by a condition known as apoplexy. I will have my manservant bleed you from the arm, then apply beaver musk to your nose to induce sneezing, thereby drawing phlegm away from the brain.
But my problems, they are the swollen belly, the chundering, the tenderness, and the big mood. How can it be, this apoplexy?
Apoplexy is an affliction of the brain which can both trick the senses and induce, large moods. The stars suggest this condition was given you by a witch. A most capricious witch, I warrant, for the condition has tricked your mind into feeling all the symptoms of being with child. And verily, 'tis not possible for you to be with child, signor. Unless, of course, that moustache of yours is naught but a cunning disguise. But I jest, signor. 'Twas not my intention to doubt your manliness.
You jest! A lady who would disguise herself as a man? So silly. I think you see too many plays by Mr. Shakespeare, huh? Riccardo Ferraro bids you good day.
Rosa, which marks the food on your plate? Are you verily sure that your dinner is clean? Let me explain how food causes your pain, that your friends and relations are very mean.
Good day, Mr. Mugg. Pray tell, did the matter with the, cherries resolve itself in the end?
Aye, indeed. I did tell my friend, Mr. Sprottle, what you said about how my shouting at him was owing to an upset of bile in my spleen. I also did speak to him on the evils of onions. I think he was most interested.
And what may I assist you with this day, Mr. Mugg?
I have the spotted fever. I must begin treatment now, or else I will...
Hold, sir. The spotted fever is exceeding rare. Why would you think you have such a disease?
Well, sir, not only am I covered all over in red spots, I have lately taken to chundering, such as are the very symptoms listed in the medical book I did read. I am already taking the treatment Mr. Cogan prescribes, but now I require...
You mean to say you have read Thomas Cogan's Haven of Health? Why, that is a most technical book, writ for doctors and medical students. How did you come to be reading it?
My friend George Sprottle did bind a printing of it in his shop. He kindly let me spy some pages afore 'twas sent up to Cambridge. Oh, but Dr. Foreman, I forget myself. You have no medical degree, so you doubtless have not read it. Mayhap if I ask George nicely...
Sir, let us consult the stars and see if they may tell us what ails you. You do indeed suffer from the spotted fever, Mr. Mugg. Now, as to your cure. Aye, it does require some uncommon ingredients that I do not keep here in my chambers at present. A moment, pray, while I write this down. Here, take this recipe to your apothecary and have him make you up a preparation. Take a spoonful each morning until your red spots disappear.
Ooh, ground up horns of a deer, and cinnamon, how very fine, and this red coral from the South Seas.
Aye, verily. Nothing but the finest of cures for my loyal querents.
It is just as well for us that I did consult Mr. Cogan's book, is it not, Dr. Foreman? On my word, my wife was very wrong to doubt him. I shall tell her you said so. One thing more, if you please, Dr. Foreman, for I feel I must give you warning. A great storm is coming. I feel it in my bones, and my bones do always speak true. You would do well to bide indoors at the first sign of wind and rain. God keep you well, Dr. Foreman.
Almighty God, thy servant Thomas Black, reach forth thy gracious hand, and slap sense into him.
Good morrow, Dean Blagg. How fare you this day?
Well, Dr. Foreman, I must own that I do not fare well, for my recent investments have left me in a rather vexing financial position.
Verily, that is ill to hear.
Aye, Sir Walter Raleigh's quest for El Dorado failed most woefully, just as you predicted. His ships did return loaded with naught but a few sacks of worthless root vegetables. I cannot fathom it. We are Englishmen. We do not eat vegetables.
Aye, a disappointing outcome indeed.
Oh, but that is all by the by, for you will be pleased to know that I put my remaining fortune into a new venture so assured of success that I will make all my money back and more.
Assured, you say? How very reassuring.
I have invested in an expedition to intercept a fleet of Spanish ships carrying gold back from the New World. For this expedition, Sir Walter Raleigh will be joined by that famous military genius, Robert Devereux, the Earl of Essex, so success is virtually guaranteed. There is but one small worry, however.
Ah, only one?
Aye. 'Tis that Raleigh and Essex set sail full 2 months past, but there is yet no tidings of them. Such silence is a trifle vexing. Have they yet captured the Spanish treasure ships? Surely no ill has befallen them.
A most vexing mystery indeed. Let us see whether the stars can tell us what has become of this expedition. Wondrous tidings! Your family's fortune is soon to be restored, and you may thank God for it was he that inspired you to invest in such a well-led expedition. Raleigh and Essex have come upon the Spanish treasure fleet, and a violent battle off the coast of Spain is being waged this very hour.
Verily, blessed day! O Heavenly Father, I give thanks unto thee for both thy mercy and thy business savvy.
Why must this wench act so distressed? Mayhap she can't abide a jest. No welcome love and his professed. What an ungrateful lady! What an ungrateful lady!
Good day, Mistress Lanier. Pray, come in and take comfort by the fire. The wind is fierce and cold this day.
Did you see him this time, Dr. Foreman? He did it again. He ran off the moment he saw me.
See who, madam?
Your patient, Signor Ferraro.
Ah, verily? Indeed, I was expecting him to come for a consultation this day. But he changed his mind and ran off, you say? How very mysterious.
Truly, 'tis as if all men are determined to use me ill.
Surely not all men, madam. I, for one, remain most devotedly at your service.
Indeed. It does seem that I must beseech your pardon. For some years ago you rightly foresaw in the stars that my alliance with Mr. Shakespeare would end in theft and deceit, but I would not heed you. I have been a fool, Dr. Foreman.
My dear lady, I do not need to read the stars to see that something grave has befallen you. Pray, tell me what it is.
Yesterday I did meet with Mr. Shakespeare to discourse upon our new play, which is to open this week at the theatre in Shoreditch. But though I was determined not to confront him about the sonnets he wrote about me, 'twas difficult to hide the heaviness I did feel in his company.
I can well imagine, madam.
So then, well, he remarked upon my dark humour. To wit, he said to me, "Amelia, your pretty brow does furrow, so I will kiss it smooth."
And I sense that you did not receive this well?
Indeed, I did not. Forsooth, I was so enraged by this, I reversed my flagon of ale full over his head.
Ah.
Whereon he rose from his stool, declaring I was the most ungrateful and unworthy wench in all of Christendom, and then he flew out of the tavern like a bat from out the gates of hell.
A most vivid image, and no doubt most apt. Men who work in playhouses are prone to indulging in such melodrama, of course. Why so many ladies care for such men in preference of those employed in solid, stable professions, I shall never understand.
And if only that were all. For this morning I saw a bill advertising our play posted on a wall in my street. It bears his name and not mine.
Verily? Surely not. Mayhap there has been some error made.
Nay, Dr. Foreman, 'tis no error, for I rushed to the theatre to see what was amiss, but I was refused admittance. Indeed, the player who came to the door denied all knowledge of my collaboration on the play. Methinks Mr. Shakespeare is exacting his petty vengeance upon me for rejecting his sly suit by denying me credit for my work, and he means to deal with me by pretending I do not exist, as if I were a ghost. Or is it he who has become the ghost? In truth, I am not yet sure how that metaphor should work.
What monstrous perfidy! Pray tell me what I might do to punish this wretched scribbler. Though I am not adept with a sword, I do have a book that instructs in how to command nefarious spirits.
Oh, prithee, sir, I am come not in search of vengeance, but to seek answers. As you know, I have been ill-treated by my husband, and now I am betrayed by Mr. Shakespeare. Pray, read the stars and answer me this, Dr. Foreman. Will I ever be able to trust, even love, a man again?
To your question of whether there yet be a man in this world worthy of your trust and affections, forsooth, I have never seen an arrangement of stars that speaks so clearly.
Verily? Then pray tell, what answer does it give?
My dear lady, the answer you seek need not be divined by reading the stars. It may be read in the signs you see before you now. To wit, the answer you seek is right in front of you.
I am afeard I do not follow, Dr. Foreman. 'Tis your feather quill, a half-eaten apple, your desk is a little untidy, and I must confess the symbolism in Flemish still-life painting has always quite confounded me. Take a skull, for instance. What sense does a skull make alongside a bowl of... Below? 'Tis clear to me now, your face was always hid in shadow, but 'tis you, Mr. Foreman. You are the man who has been prowling me these last months.
Dearest, loveliest Amelia, allow me to profess to you my undying admiration for your charms, which are not insignificant.
God's womb, et tu, Dr. Foreman. Fie, you of all men to betray me thus. But 'tis true. I now see the answer. For I know now never again to trust a man to guide me. Henceforth, I shall write under my own name, and when there are decisions to be made, I shall take my own counsel and make my own judgments. Farewell, Dr. Foreman, and clean your desk. Verily, 'tis quite disgusting.
Lancelot Moore is of a great house. Much does depend, much, on his choice of a spouse. He must be well, his consequence wealth, no matter the cost to love and to health.
Good day to you, young sir, and well met. You are Lancelot Moore of Middlesex, are you not? What an honour it is to welcome a son of the great house of Moore to my humble consulting chambers.
'Tis indeed I, Lancelot Moore. I will own it. But hear this. My family is ignorant of my designs in coming here, and I wish them to remain so. Which is why I come to you, Mr. Foreman, for methinks you are not such a man who would ever find himself in the company of a family such as ours.
Ah, well, you may count upon my discretion, Mr. Moore. And what is the matter that brings you this day?
'Tis that my family wish me to marry my wretched cousin Barbara.
And I take it you would not wish to comply?
Nay, I verily would not. Cousin Barbara is a vile little minx. She loves nothing more than to sport with me and play cruel japes. Last Christmas, she even hid a dead mouse in my mince pie.
The lady does seem most spirited.
The lady? Oh, pish! Cousin Barbara is hardly a lady, for she is not 14 years of age. It is most unnatural to ask a grown man to wed a child.
Indeed it is. 'Tis my belief that in these enlightened times we should consider—
Verily, Barbara be damned. My heart belongs to a true woman, not a freckled, scrawny slip of a girl. A full-blossomed woman.
A woman, you say?
Aye, Marion, my other cousin.
I see.
Ah, Marion, so beguiling are her shapely charms. Oh, to lie, if not to die, in Marion's arms. So soft her lips, so sweet her face. Oh, how I yearn for her embrace. In me she hath such passion stirred, a fever rises in my— But nay, I pray for death, and would be martyred if from her I be thus parted. And so you see, you must help me forestall this wretched marriage, so that I might wed my sweet cousin Marion. Mr. Foreman? Mr. Foreman?
Yes, indeed. Let us see what the stars advise. How might Mr. Moore avoid this marriage to his cousin Barbara? It is apparent you do not wish to marry your cousin Barbara, but have you considered whether she wishes to marry you?
Nay, but I cannot think why she would not want to marry me. I am exceeding eligible.
Aye, doubtless you are, Mr. Moore. But do you not think her unkind japes may indicate she harbours some degree of malice towards you?
Mayhap you are right. I did find a toad in my bed Thursday last. 'Tis as if Barbara were possessed by a demon.
Very possibly. And thus possessed, she may be distracted and not wholly aware of your, fine qualities. I advise you to simply bide your time, for the stars suggest she is a cunning maid who plans to thwart the marriage using a method of her own devising.
Verily? Then I will leave it all to Barbara, as you advise. But it shall be on your head if I'm forced to marry her, Mr. Foreman.
Hear ye, hear ye. Spanish Armada nears English coast. Nation prepares for invasion whilst Queen searches for missing navy. Hear ye.
Wench, be sure to marry, lest ye be branded a witch. If Mary sees you keeping cats against you, she will snitch. Beware of Mistress Mary Pet, she is a nosy fa la 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 la.
Blessed even, Dr. Foreman.
Mistress Payne, what brings you in such weather? 'Tis most dangerous to be about in it.
Oh, it takes more than a little wind and rain to forestall me from doing the Lord's work. Besides, foul weather is naught but God's righteous vengeance upon London for the sinful debauchery of its inhabitants.
Verily? Then I dread to think what northerners get up to of an evening.
Pray heed me carefully, Dr. Foreman, for 'tis on a most pressing matter that I am come. Doubtless you have heard the news. The Spanish Armada does sail once again towards England's shores. It seems this latest Armada was most unexpected.
Well, as 'tis oft said, no one expects the Spanish Armada.
'Tis very grave this time, for I have heard tell that our own warships are far away at sea, and with our coasts undefended, a Catholic horde may soon be sailing up the Thames to slay us all.
Aye, our situation is most grave indeed. But what would you have me tell you, Mistress Payne?
I wish to know whether the English fleet will arrive home in time to defend our shores, or might we ordinary folk be compelled to take up arms to defend ourselves? Dr. Foreman, are you ready to beat off the Catholics, come what may?
Am I ready to beat off the... prithee, madam, let us pray the need never arises. Perchance the stars will offer us some reassurance. Will the Royal Naval Fleet return home in time to defend England from the Spanish Armada? Madam, know you of Robert Devereux, the Earl of Essex, or of Sir Walter Raleigh, perchance?
Oh, young Lord Devereux, such a talented young man. My niece is especially taken with him.
Well, it would seem the pair did take the royal fleet on an expedition to intercept and seize gold being transported back to Spain from the New World. But their plan went awry, and now they are lost at sea. I am afeard that, short of a miracle, a Spanish invasion is indeed imminent.
Her Majesty would risk her realm and the lives of her subjects for the sake of gold. Then now present danger does not surprise me. England's downfall will be God's punishment for our Queen's greed and avarice.
Well, to be fair to Her Majesty, I do not imagine she gave Devereux and Raleigh permission to...
Oh, my days! With a Spanish invasion nigh, I know not how to calm my anxious passions. Methinks I shall take to bed with Paul and Matthew this even.
Oh, yes, I see. The book of Paul and the book of Matthew. Aye, verily. Holy Scripture does give great comfort to a distressed mind. God keep ye well, Mistress Payne.
Pray take care, for say, did you hear what the Countess of Devonshire says about peas? They corrupt your humours and cause cancer tumors, so doubtless they're causing your garnet disease.
Good morrow, Mr. Mugg. Back again so soon. And yet your red spots do seem to have faded.
Aye, of the spotted fever I am cured, for, as he remarked, those spots have near vanished and no new ones are appearing. But my wife does swear they were the work of fleas, and she beat the rugs and banished the dogs from the house to rid us of them. She'll be beating and banishing me next if she has her way.
Well, I am glad to hear you are faring better. What brings you this day?
I have a humoral imbalance and need treating for it.
A humoral imbalance, you say? Well, 'tis true that an imbalance of humours can affect a man's mood. For instance, an excess of black bile, which is a cold, dry humour, can provoke feelings of melancholy, whereas yellow bile
is hot and dry. I thank ye for the explanation, Dr. Foreman, but I did learn all about humours when I took supper with my friend, Mistress Ollingworth. She has a humoral imbalance and takes medicine for it. Hence, I am come this day for medicine to treat my own imbalance.
I see. And what mental symptoms are you experiencing? Any unusual or troubling feelings?
Aye, very troubling. Why, I find myself a-fretting and a-pacing all the day long. Even my wife has remarked upon it.
Anxiety and agitation. Pray tell, did these feelings begin before or after you spoke with your friend, Mistress Ollingworth?
Let me see now. After, methinks. Aye, after. Why? Does that matter?
Yes, quite possibly. But let us see what these stars do have to say. What humoral imbalance does ail my querent, Nicholas Mugg?
Have you a diagnosis yet? This day I am to dine with Mistress Ollingworth, and I wish to tell her all about it.
Aye, 'tis done. You have a choleric temperament, brought on by a minor imbalance of yellow bile. It does oft induce feelings of irritability and impatience in the sufferer, and in severe cases it can provoke outbursts of anger.
I see. How very interesting.
We must counter the excess of this hot, dry humour with wet and cooling elements. Take this powder of violets and salt and boil it in some water. Then you must drink the infusion once it is cooled.
I thank ye for this medicine, Dr. Foreman. But may I trouble you for twice the dose of it? For if the symptoms be what you say, I think my wife had best be taking it as well.
Hear ye! Spanish Armada sunk by English storm! Hear ye!
Here comes a son of noble birth. Know you how much his father is worth? For such a boy advantage is bought, entitled to much, deserving of naught.
Oh, sirrah, I have dire need of your counsel.
Pray calm yourself, sir, and tell me of this urgent affair.
Oh, verily, 'tis most urgent. A fair maiden has my heart, a maid with hair of shining gold and eyes so blue the finest sapphires grow pale with envy. But she is a most pious and demure in nature, and has many other suitors. How might I win her favour?
Golden hair? But in our last consultation... let me see here in my notes. Yes, you told me your heart belonged to a maid with hair of onyx black that doth make the finest ebony go grey with envy.
You mean my cousin Marion? Pish! That was naught but a childish fancy. I bid you, Foreman, pray focus on the matter at hand, for if you do not help me win my true love's favour, my bursting heart will tear asunder, my soul will wither unto...
Aye, as you will. Let us see what guidance can be had from the stars. How may Lancelot More win the heart of this golden-haired maiden? This maid does give off an air of piety, but in truth she is no different from others of her sex. It would seem she hides a secret fondness for jewels and fine nicks and knacks. The stars also indicate that you would do well to make much of your masculine qualities of strength and bravery.
A most excellent plan, Foreman. Mayhap I take my love to the finest bear-baiting ring in London. For there she will see I do never flinch at the sight of blood spilled. And as for fine things, I will impress her by wearing twice my usual number of necklaces and earrings. Verily, I will this very moment go to my tailor to order a much wider ruff.
Alice Black, she likes a drink. She does care not what you think. Her head may end up down the sink, but Alice cares not what you think.
Good day, Mistress Black. What brings you?
Oh, Dr. Foreman, I have worked myself into such a state that I have urgent need of you.
Oh, you have you? Well then, let me just,
Yea, I have urgent need of your counsel. I am certain that my husband Blarg is hiding a shameful secret from me. As you doubtless did note from my flushedness of face and heaving of bosom, I burn with the fever of suspicion and curiosity.
Indeed, I did remark a fever upon your person, and wish fervently that I may bring it to a speedy resolution. Let us see. What is this secret that your husband Thomas Blarg hides from you? I fear the secret your husband hides is a sudden transformation from wealth to pauperdom, for he has been careless with your family's finances by making a series of bad business investments.
Lawks a mercy, that boiled-brained chump has ruined us. Upon my virtue, I can hardly bear to think on it. Nay, I cannot even. Say, is that medicinal wine I spy on the shelf behind you, good sir? Prithee, pour your patient a dose of it. Simon makes a fine figure when he reads the stars wisely. Mayhap I stay a while and take wine and a little else with him.
Alas, for little Emma, such sorrow she has borne, since she was made a lady. She has much to mourn. 'Tis vexing, 'tis trying. Alas, for Lady Anne, such sorrow she has borne.
Good day, Mistress Delamere.
Good day, Dr. Foreman. 'Tis Lady Dyer now. I remarried after poor Mr. Delamere passed.
Verily? Oh, I am full sorry to hear of your husband's demise, my lady.
'Twas his weak heart, as you did warn me. John collapsed and died at a mask ball, for someone, we know not whom, came to the ball dressed as a monstrous spider. Poor Mr. Delamere. He was always so afeard of spiders.
Oh, what a ghastly business. You must have been most distressed.
Yes, I was. So I hope you will understand why I worry for the health of my new husband, Lord Dyer. Mayhap 'tis naught at all, and yet...
And yet you would wish to know so that you may rest easier. Why, of course, my lady. Pray, describe Lord Dyer's troubles to me, no matter how trifling they may seem to you.
Well, I have noted that my husband awakens many times in the night to make water. Mayhap 'tis the reason why he tires so easily during the day. And he does oft complain of thirst and hunger, even after meals.
Frequent urination, tiredness, dog-like appetite, and thirst. Be there anything else?
There is also a small wound on his hand. It does not appear grave, yet it has not healed, even though it be some weeks since he cut himself.
A wound that will not heal. Then let us see what the stars have to say. Be there any grave illness troubling Mr. John Delamere?
Methinks you mean Lord Henry Dyer, Dr. Foreman.
I beseech your pardon, my lady. What illness troubles Lord Henry Dyer? It seemed Lord Dyer suffers from the diabetes. 'Tis a grave case of it, I am afeard.
God mend me. Then how am I to keep my husband from dying of it?
Well, the consumption of lettuce seeds and barley water can help, and you must not allow him to take honey or sweetmeats. In truth, I am a little concerned about the wound on his lordship's hand, though it be minor. 'Tis the diabetes that prevents it from healing.
Oh, then what should be done about it?
Take Lord Dyer to a barber surgeon, where he may have leeches applied to his wound. This will draw out the corrupt blood to hasten the healing. But prithee, be sure that your husband never cuts himself again, for the corruption of blood such cuts occasion in a sufferer of the diabetes, well, they oftentimes prove fatal.
Oh, then I shall do precisely as you advised, Dr. Foreman. I thank ye heartily, sir. Good day.
Here comes Avis Allen, she must have fallen still. My health would she have come here, mayhap she's gravely ill.
Good day, Mistress Allen. I hear a child was lately born to you. I trust he is well?
Yes, indeed. God has favoured us with a healthy boy. He is a true blessing to Mr. Allen and me. And we pray he remains so. That is, that this child remains in good health. And as I do ail of something, normally I would not have come, but methinks 'tis best I am treated, for the sake of Marmaduke, lest he take ill from me.
I see. Then pray describe your troubles to me, Mistress Allen.
Well, in truth, 'tis but a cough, but indeed at first I thought 'twas naught but a chilly cold, but 'tis many weeks now, and it lingers still. Forsooth, I am afeard it does grow worse.
Many weeks, you say? Aye, that is most concerning. Let us see what the stars have to say. What ails Mistress Avis Allen, and how may she be cured? Before I complete my judgment, madam, I must ask a question of medical relevance. Who is the true father of your...
God mend me, Simon! You would plague me with your suspicious fancies even now, in my very hour of need. Have you no thought for my son and my... I am full sick of your jealous delusions. Oh, verily, I should never have come. I will bid ye good day now, Simon.
But would you not wish to know what ails you?
Aye, indeed, I would. Which is why I will be finding myself another doctor.
When the story seems bold, crucial facts left untold. When the story seems bold, crucial facts left untold.
When foreman
protests, he is pushed to the test. He's Ferraro, Signor Ferraro.
Good day, Signor Ferraro. How may I do you service?
How may you do me service, huh? 'Tis the question, is it not? I do hear you offer many different services, huh? Not just in medicine, for you are a dottore of a special kind, one who gives answers to all the problems, see?
Forsooth, 'tis true, Signor. In my practice, I endeavour to treat the whole man, mind, body, soul, the location of his missing household items. All are connected at a holistic level. I take it this time you are come about a problem that does not pertain to a bodily complaint?
See, this is my mama. She does worry night and day. She say, Riccardo, you must go to the wise man who reads the stars and have him tell you what your future holds. I say, Mama, if it'll make you happy, I will go to Signor Foreman and ask him.
I see. And is there any particular reason for your mother to be thus concerned? Be you faced with some kind of imminent danger?
A particular reason, you say? Nay, signor, she needs no reason to worry. Mia madre is an Italian mama.
Ah, yes, of course.
You see now, huh? She is not like these London mamas who make the children live in a cupboard with the dog.
Well, then, mayhap the stars might offer your devoted mother some comfort. What does the future hold for Riccardo Ferraro and his mother? I am afeard these stars reveal information of a most disturbing nature.
Verily?
Aye. When you first came to me, you did tell me that you worked in trade. And yet my chart very plainly indicates that you are an authority figure, connected with a learned institution over which you hold a position of responsibility. Indeed, it would seem that you are not who you say you are. Do you deny it, Signor?
Oh, sirrah! You would accuse me of calling myself something I am not? Look at you, sirrah, a charlatan who would call himself a doctor. You are naught but a pretender.
Fie, sir! It is you who are the pretender, for 'tis clear you are not the merchant of Venice you pretend to be. Who are you? What is your true name, sir?
You will know it in time, sirrah, for we shall meet again. I bid you good day, Dr. Foreman.
Weep not for wipe away thy tears, for you and Davy shed good years. Waste no more hours on and shame. 'Tis time to find someone to blame.
But why did you not let me save you, Avis? Why did you entrust your precious life to another doctor? An ignorant impostor who knows not how to read the stars to judge an illness. Oh, my beloved Avis. Why did you die before I had the chance to... So 'twas I. I am to blame for Avis's death. If only I had not driven away with my ill-tempered, unkind accusations. Would that I had turned my thoughts to her illness and away from my own selfish needs. How will I ever forgive myself?